Good morning, guys. Today I want to talk about the next step in our puppy training. So we've been training with Agrippa in the last week. John, you have been building some engagement over the last couple days. So I want to talk about the next step in the puppy development. And one of the things that we want to consider is the socialization process of the puppy. So I have a pretty unique or unorthodox way of socializing my puppy. And when I'm thinking about my puppy's socialization, the question that I need to ask myself is, what is the most important work that eventually I would like to do with the puppy? And in Agrippa's case, it is becoming a personal protection dog. So what are the traits or what are the qualities that a personal protection dog needs to have? Well, foremost, very obedient, engaged with a handler. The handler and the puppy and the dog would need a incredible bond based upon trust and respect. It needs to work in a variety of environments, so it needs to be environmentally sound. That's why we tend to look for puppies that have genetically good and solid nerves. And we also need a puppy that doesn't think that every human that he sees is going to be his best friend. We also don't want a puppy that when he sees a dog, that he thinks that all dogs are his best friend, and there is this incredibly desire for him to play with a puppy. If we have a search and rescue dog, one of the biggest traits there is the dog will use his nose. So the olfactory qualities of that dog are important. Also, with a search and rescue dog, the dog doesn't need to think that everybody is his friend. And when he sees a dog when he's working, he does not need to be attracted to other dogs. When we deal with a drug dog or a explosive detection dog, using his nose is the most important thing. And with these detection dogs, he also needs to have a really good bond and relationship with a handler based upon trust and respect. However, this dog will work most of his life very solistic. When he's on the task looking for stuff, it's on his own. The dog is the only creature that can actually sniff out a dog. He can't rely on the handler too much, rather than him directing in the right room or car or wherever we deploy the dog. Having said that, when we as a puppy, when we as a handler socialize our puppy with a lot of people around him, and we're going to show that people are interesting and that when he sees people he gets pets and he gets treats and people can interact with him, we are going to condition that in this puppy's life. In a very early stage, in the imprinting period, we are basically already telling the pup that people are fun. And that is wrong, in my opinion. We should teach the puppy that people are neutral. So when I think about socialization and socialization exercises, what I'm going to do with my young puppy, my goal is to neutralize people, to neutralize dogs, and to neutralize things in his environment. So, and I'd rather start that earlier than later. But we can't start it too early. So one of the things that we will do is start implementing this work in about a week to 10 days in the puppy's initial life with us. So we had about a week to 10 days interacting with the dog and teaching that he depends for his survival to me. So in Jeff's case and Agrippa, they have been working together for about a week now with an average of 5 to 10 sessions a day. So I would say they had at least about 50 to 70 interactions where the puppy has learned that when he pays attention to his handler, Jeff, his teammate, Jeff, that he gets a reward. And that reward in this particular case is food, social contact, and a good hangout time, because those are the three things that the puppy has done. So the next step in this team's training is also teaching the pup that other people are not that important, but that when Jeff and his puppy are around other people, that that when the puppy interacts with these people, he does not get anything in return. But when he redirects his energy and attention to Jeff, he is going to get the same thing. He's going to get food and social attention from the dog, from Jeff. So parallel with that training, what I try to do is I want to bring in some random items that I set up in my training area. So for instance, I could put a ladder here while I'm doing my work. I could also put the ladder down on the ground and teach the pup that it's okay to move through this ladder. And I'm not going to force him through it. I'm just going to move around the ladder. And when the puppy walks through the ladder, I'm going to click and I'm going to feed him. The same with the vacuum. The vacuum is also a visual cue, and it's probably an item that you're going to use quite a lot in your house. So in the beginning, I'm just going to present the visual cue of vacuum, and when he sees the visual cue of vacuum, that means that when he tries to interact with the vacuum, this vacuum is not doing anything in return. But when he redirects his energy and his attention from the vacuum to the handler, he's going to get the same reward. He's going to get food and social interaction. And we can do that with other items. We can do that with a broom. We can do that with a chair. We can do that with a heater. We can do that with anything that we want. However, when we start implementing distractions, we can't overdo it. So we can't overstimulate the dog. We need to set a puppy up for success. And what I try to do is I try to implement 1 or 2 distractions at the time. Whether it's another person, whether it's a vacuum, whether it's a ladder. And then when I have success with that puppy, with this distraction, I'll bring in another distraction. When you go back to my video from Tyrant to Teacher, I explain how to do this. I talk about a white room with white walls, with a white ceiling, and we can raise a balloon in that white room as a visual distraction. When the dog ignores that balloon, we bring in another balloon, and then we bring in another balloon, and etc., etc. So sheet per sheet, we're building the distractions up, like we are building the criteria up. And that is also a form of socialization. We are environmentally socializing the dog and telling him that things in his environment don't mean anything. The guy that he needs to pay attention to, or the most social interactive thing, is me, the handler, and not other people, and not other dogs, and not other things. So now let's think about another dog, and think about a emotional support dog for kids and humans that are, like, for instance, they're sick, they're in the hospital, and our goal is to develop an emotional support dog that's going to help people. In that particular case, interacting and socializing the pup with people is a good thing, yeah, because his job is to go and hang out with kids and not just me. His job is to make people at ease. So in that particular case, I would actually expose my dog to people earlier than later and teach him that people are fun. However, if we start that process too early and our initial relationship building phase and engagement phase has not done correctly, the dog might actually think that people are more fun than the handler. So we need to balance that out, and we need to make sure that when we bring a dog into a room where there's no distractions, the dog in a couple seconds pays attention to me and wants to interact with me. Then we know we've done our initial engagement work correctly. A mistake that a lot of people make is that they vary their training area too much. Sometimes they train in their garage, sometimes they train in their backyard or their front yard, and then they train in their kitchen. And what you're basically doing is implementing new distractions per time you train, and that's a big mistake. So all your engagement work should be done in the same area that you, in the same area every day, every session. And in that area, you are going to implement distractions or add distractions one at a time. And then when the dog is really good with all the distractions in that area, it's time to venture out. Dogs are very bad generalizers. So if they have a good engagement in one location, that doesn't mean necessarily that they're going to have a good engagement in the others. And that is something that we need to build gradually. So like my mentor, Dr. Bailey said, don't be a lumper, be a splitter. So what we're going to do here in a little bit is I'm going to ask Jeff to work with his puppy on some basic skills, and those basic skills are just engagement. And what we are going to do next is the puppy has seen Charlie here, who is our cameraman, and we'll have Charlie walk around. The puppy has seen me and interacted with me, so I might be a big distraction, but we'll have Ken here today, and Ken will just sit in the area as a new distraction, and when the puppy is going to come to Ken and say, "Hey, Mr. Ken, can I interact with you?" Ken is going to remain completely neutral. He's not going to look at the pup, he's not going to move, he's not going to make any sound, he is not going to even touch the pup. And from the moment the puppy redirects the energy back to Jeff, and the puppy is, "Hey Jeff, how are you?" What is Jeff going to do? Click and feed and make it entertaining. And I want to talk a little bit about that entertaining stuff. So when it comes to rewarding, you need to vary your reward. One of the big mistakes that people make in training is that when they click, let me grab some kibble here. You know, I don't drink this kibble for a living, but when I have a reward, is what a lot of people do is they click and they give one piece of kibble. Then the next time they give another piece of kibble. And the next time the puppy engages, they get another piece of kibble. And as Americans, or imported Americans, we like capitalism. And I'm a capitalist myself. And Jeff likes to gamble once in a while. And the nice thing about gambling is that the payouts vary, and sometimes this guy is super happy and gets a really big bonus. And that is something what we need to vary with our dogs. So while we're building engagement and while we're building luring, one of the things that we need to do is vary the amount and value of the rewards. And I can do that, but when the puppy comes, is not just give him one treat, is give him multiple treats. And there I go. I load my hands up. You know, the puppy comes, I click, I grab food with both hands, and there I go. And I keep feeding him. After the pup checked out Ken, ignored Ken, came back to me, and I'm giving him this bonus. He's going to say, "Holy smokes, this is cool." Yeah. So by varying and randomizing the intensity and the amount and the value of and frequency of our rewards, we basically become a slot machine. And slot machines, like I explained in my From Tyrant to Teacher video, are extremely addictive and or addicting. And that's what we need to become. So in our game, our dogs should never know how much rewards they are getting. So it might be 1 kibble, it might be 2 kibble, it might be 5 kibbles, or it might be a 15 seconds of feeding frenzy and moving around and having great energy. What is important though is when you click, you always give a reward. And again, I refer to our Tyrant to Teacher video, and also from Teacher to Professor, I talk about reward schedules. And in the beginning, your dog should be on a continuous reward schedule. That means that every time he meets the criteria, he gets paid. That means after you click, there is always a reward. The biggest mistake that people make is that when the dog hits the criteria and they click, they refrain from rewarding, and then there is no reward. So make sure that you are rewarding with a continuous reward schedule, and that within that continuous reward schedule, you vary the intensity, you vary the value, and you vary the amount. So how could I change up the value of the reward? Well, if you feed kibble, and Jeff has prepared his kibble here, like he always does, just a kibble with water. One of the things that we could do in adding some value is maybe cut up a little bit of hot dog or a little bit of mozzarella cheese, and we just put little surprises of rewards in there. And that's how we can surprise the dog, and then the value is great. So how do I do that? Often is I put my kibble in my pocket, and then in my back pocket here, this is where I store the extra fun goodies. And when I see my dog, he makes a great choice, he goes to Ken and I say, hey, hang on, that is the wrong choice, and he goes back to Jeff, then I can already grab that little piece of mozzarella cheese or hot dog and put that in my kibble, and there I made this little surprise jackpot for my dog, which is going to make myself a lot more addicting. And I do that with, a lot of stuff, and eventually we can do that with the balls too. And games, but more on that in a couple weeks. So what I would like to do is, again, if you guys have any questions, leave me a question down below. Hopefully it gets out of hand with a lot of questions. That means that I'm going to have a lot of work in the next couple days. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up the room here. So hang on, please. Yeah, somebody's knocking on my door. We are going to set up the room, and today we are going to have people as a distraction. And I'm going to ask the people to be completely neutral no matter what happens. So can I jump over you there, Ken? So even if the pup crawls over Ken, what is Ken going to do? Completely neutral. He's not going to look at the dog. He's not going to touch the dog. He's not going to make any sound. And then Jeff's job is to get his puppy a little bit. He might make a funny noise, something like that. The puppy redirects. The puppy is close to him. And what are you going to do? Turn into a party, click, feed. So again, part of our socialization with these pups that are personal protection dogs, sport dogs, is to be people and animal neutral. So before we continue, I am actually going to hand over my jacket here to Jeff, and I'm going to ask Jeff to grab his dog. And before the puppy comes in, I am going to get rid of all the physical distractions. I'm going to remove all the physical distractions. So the pup has a clean room. And sorry for the noise, guys. I'm just adjusting my mic here for a little bit. So that should work. So if Jeff is going to go with his puppy, and then maybe the camera can follow Jeff so you can see how he potty his puppy again, because the puppy has been in the car, so he's going to go in the potty pen. We're going to, of course, do all that stuff again, the same routine like we've learned in the past. The dog is in the crate before work, goes potty, then works, and then from work goes potty again before he goes in the crate. So why don't we follow Jeff outside and grab his puppy? Whenever he's ready, of course. And let's go get that cutie. Yeah, he's going to grab the dog from the car, and then area. We're going to give the dog an opportunity to go to the bathroom, and then when the dog goes to the bathroom, we do the same thing. We're going to give a little party. We're going to tell the dog that what he's done was awesome, and then we are going to bring him back inside. And there he is. There's Agrippa. A little sleepy, but that will change pretty quickly here. Look at the tail. He's drumming, beating the drum. What's important is when the dog is in the and he just got his reward, is when you put him in the potty pen is to be completely boring and neutral, because his job is not to interact with you. His job is to go, in this case, piskadoon, go pee, and when he does that, we are going to reward him. So let's follow Jeff inside. And then we'll have 3 distractions in here. Ken, Charlie with the camera, and myself. And then Jeff's objective is to always get attention from his puppy. Good, and there you go. There should be a click, because the puppy re-engaged after food. So make sure that you tell the puppy that that's exactly what it is, what you wanted to do. Click. And then, yeah, if you can, use the entire room that you have. Good, click for paying attention. Good, try to be a little bit more dynamic. Now he's checking out Ken. Oh, click, yes, he made the right choice. And I would suggest feeding a little bit lower so the puppy does not jump on top of you all the time. Otherwise, that might be becoming a part of the behavior. And again, when you drop food, try to deal with it. But don't sweat it. We all make mistakes. I drop food all the time. It's just how to deal with it. Good. So the puppy is making great choices here. I have one suggestion for Jeff here, because his luring hands are always close together, which might confuse the dog. So when you feed, literally try to feed him hop, hop, make a good distinction between the 2 hands. So you can load the 2 hands, there you go. And then we'll need to give him time. He's chewing. He had a lot of food in his mouth. And again, when the dog is eating, he's basically checked out. So give him the opportunity to finish his food. There might be a piece of hard kibble in there. I think that's what's going on. It's an adult kibble that was hidden in the pocket. Yep. Yeah, don't click for checking out. Just grab that piece, redirect him with food, grab that piece. Not with the clicker, just with food. There you go. Ken, can I ask you to stand up and maybe move around casually? When the dog comes and checks in with you, I would like you to stand still. Keep moving around. Don't wait for the pup. There you go. So when your pup is distracted, don't stand around. Just keep moving. And what you can see is that the puppy now is paying attention to Jeff and not so much on Ken. So move around a little bit for like 2-3 seconds. Yeah, click. There you go. That was a good attention there from Jeff. So maybe walk around Ken a little bit. Yeah, stop the lure. So stop luring. It's not about luring now. It's about making the choice in checking in with you. Just move away from there. Make a little bit of noise. There you go, click, that's, oh. Yeah, Ken is doing a good job. There you go, that's what his click is for. He redirected his energy and his attention from Ken to Jeff, and that is rewarding. And this is how we socialize the puppy with people. People are neutral. They are not creatures to interact with or to give the puppy a lot of fun. But they're also not something to be afraid of and to be angry at. It's just, you know, people are neutral. They are not meaning a lot for the dog. And the puppy's doing a good job here. And again, this is a environment with already a lot of distractions in, because we got the couches, we've got so many things. The puppy gets the zoomies. So one more, and now be a lot of fun because the puppy wants to run, and I would run through the garage. And then the more movement there is there you go. Make it super fun because the puppy wanted to move, so we can reward him by moving. If he has the desire to run, we need to give him running. Watch out by doing that. So keep moving through the garage, and then one more time, and then pick the puppy up, and the session is over. And then give him one more kibble when you pick him up, and we're going to let him go potty. So let's follow Jeff outside. Same routine. After work, the puppy gets the opportunity to go to the bathroom. So let's follow Jeff outside. And again, we're going to put the puppy in the potty pen, try to be neutral, and then see if he needs to go to the bathroom. Again, the puppy's job right now is... So I would wait a little bit because I think he needs to poop. So we're just going to be neutral. And he peed again. You can see the puppy is walking around. I think he's gonna go poop here in a little bit. The most important thing is not to interact while the puppy is trying to poop. There he goes. You see, patience is a reward for us, and now he can say good kakskadoon, and now he gets his reward, and we had a tremendous good session. So I hope, guys, this was very useful for you talking a little bit about socialization and why socializing the dog towards people so the dog is neutral and eventually to dogs so he's neutral, for me is more important. And in certain cases we want the people friendliness and dog friendliness, but it's really going to depend on the end job. So we do need to plan our socialization sessions with a lot of strategy. So John, what I want you to do is keep doing your engagement sessions. Watch the lesson before and start the luring. I would like to see some homework from the luring, and then in a couple of days, 3-4 days, when you had the puppy for about a week to 10 days, I would like you to start with this socialization process. Again, guys, thank you for being here. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below, and I will see you in the next session. Bye for now.